You're welcome back, and you're still watching the conversation on Lagos television. Of course, first conversation today will be on 2027 general elections, which is already knocking on the door. And precisely, we'll be looking at 2027 polls, quelling do-or-die politics. In this part of the world, politics appear to be very juicy, and that's why the political class will do everything possible to get to power. But ordinarily, politics should be about service and, of course, how you can impact the people. But the kind of politics that we play in this part of the world is different. It's different entirely. So this morning, we'll be having this conversation with Bosun Osifowora, lawyer and political affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning.
At least you're not a politician.
No, I'm a professional.
All right. Ideally, politics should be about service, ideology, and rendering service to the people. But that is not the meaning that the political class in this climate give to politics. It's a game of do or die getting to power in Nigeria. Why is that so?
There are three reasons. I have my own theory,
okay,
which stands on the three reasons. The first one, political climb gives you is the fastest and cheapest route to wealth.
Wow.
Yes. There are people who hold public office now, or a lot of people in public offices who, prior to their getting to the office, had little or nothing. Some couldn't even feed, which we know. So, but now they're in stupendous wealth. So that's one. Then, being a part of the political class also gives you immunity from prosecution. We've seen over time that when you join some political parties, particularly the ruling party, right, you're immune from prosecution no matter your crime, even if you killed the president. You know, so, and then we've seen political parties go and cut
deals,
alleged criminals. You know,
that's
so
where
then,
the plea bargaining. Or,
exactly. Okay. Now, so then the third one, with the third leg, is that being a part of the political class gives you undeserved respect. You become a legislator, you're honorable. You become a senator, you're most distinguished, even if you're not distinguished. You know, so people from all walks of life, they give you respect that ordinarily you don't deserve. Now, so, and then you stand amongst the elite. So at the end of the day, everybody wants to be relevant. Nobody wants to stay where it's tolerated. Everybody wants to be celebrated. So people will do anything and everything to be a part of this class. Those who are there will not leave. Those who want to come in will do everything to get them out. That's where the whole do or die affair comes in. So at the end of the day, you find that where you find cheap relevance, where you find stupendous wealth, and then you're immune from whatever you've done in the past. Your past is literally, you know, erased and forgotten. You will do everything to be a part of that class. So that's why you find that our politics, as long as it remains like this, as long as it's this attractive, people will do anything to be a part of it. And then you just said something that, is it about service to humanity? If it's about service, if I'm appointed anything, I don't have to go to my church or mosque to do a Thanksgiving. I'm only thanking God in anticipation of what is coming from the office. So it's just plain and simple. Because if I mean, look at, we all have, I mean, we have service people, some have maids in the house. If you appointed a maid to someone, will you go to church and go? Because your job is pure service. So me going to church to say, thank you, I've become a legislator, I've become a senator, I've become a government appointee, and you people that you have not spoken to in a billion years will just start calling you. They will come for the fair. Then they will treat you to dinner, treat you to lunch, treat you to all kinds of things, because everybody knows that there's something there.
Right. So from your analogy this morning, all of the points that you've looked at this particular issue, does it then mean that it is not about the politicians themselves? As a people, are we also enablers, one way or the other? Because if they know that, of course, the office, yes, whether or not it's juicy, they'll have to report service to the people. But if they know that if they go and they are coming back, and the people are clapping and saying, come and also give us a report of what you, and not report in terms of service, report in terms of we're also part of it. We have to also, get something out of this. So is it also about us as a people enabling these politicians who also have the do or die mentality already in their heads?
Okay, so I wouldn't want to blame the people.
Why?
Because we didn't start like that.
Okay.
So at some point, the ruling class impoverished the people, weaponized poverty, and at the end of the day, you don't have a choice. You have to flow with them. You have to. So people now, if a legislator comes or a government appointee comes to even a town hall meeting, you find out that people don't ask any meaningful questions. They literally sing their praises. People come, the governor comes there. It's all about what we will get. But if I had something before, if I'm not hungry, I'll be poised to ask him questions about what is the level of development here, what have you done, but right now it is what is in it for us. And I'll give you a personal example. I worked with, in 2007, I worked with the Senator Gani Solomon. So as his legislative aide at the National Assembly. About 3-4 years ago, something came up and both of us had to be in Alausa. The way people were thronging him and hailing him, he didn't have a choice. They were expectant
of something.
By the time I counted how much this man had given out.
And this is somebody who's no longer
he's been out a long time. And I'm like, if this man goes out like this every day and gives out this, in months he will be broke. So, so it's possible to look at the people that say, okay, it's because of what they're demanding. But people are not just demanding, they're demanding because they don't have. They're demanding because some people don't have the next meal. So people don't know where the next meal is coming from. So that's why you find things like this. If everything was properly situated, people will ask for service. People will demand what you have done in the office. I was a part of a group where somebody in the Lagos House of Assembly, which I think he wants to come out for another, and we now asked him, what have you done? And by the time he reeled out what he has done, I'm like, was this written for you? Or like, did you read this thing? Because what he said had no bearing. But he had dropped that same thing somewhere where people were hailing. But this was a platform of people who were well informed and nobody was hungry on that platform. I'm like, Mr. Man, your constituency has not, and he was proud. He said, this is my motion. These are the motions sponsored by me in this way. So when we took him up, after 2-3 minutes of engagement, he just faded off.
Yeah, but he's a lawmaker.
We're not asking him to do things. We're asking, he said the motions is sponsored. If somebody comes and says that he sponsored motions for birthday of someone, is that motion? You said
what does that motion have a bearing on his constituency?
Zero.
And he wants to come back.
And he's making all the effort to come back. You said you did a motion to sponsor the birthday of some first lady somewhere. Is that a motion?
So okay, go ahead.
What does that say about the quality of people that we have as lawmakers, as appointees, as politicians, as governors, as lawmakers in the country? That's on one side. Then Abimbola put a question to you earlier. Are the people not the ones putting pressure on these people?
Even though you said it could also have been the politicians that could have impoverished the people. But even at that, do you give... Are politicians different from us?
Okay, so now let's situate it. There are fantastic politicians. There are people who know their onions. There are politicians who are doing fantastically well. Their constituents are singing their praises, not because of what they're getting from them, but because of the impact of what they're doing in the service. I mean, in the area, in the constituencies. And there are a lot. Even in this Lagos, you can point to a few. I mean, somewhere in Ikorodu, there's a particular name that everybody will do everything because of what he's done in that area. But I'm from a constituency where the person in my own constituency doesn't even know why he's dead. I always say this every time I come to programs like this. You see a legislator buy jam forms for people, and he feels that is his contribution to education. I don't need jam form. I can buy jam form for my child.
Yeah.
What have you done to ensure that public schools are better off than
but
this?
if, sorry to cut you short, it's just again to what you've said. But then when they also buy these jam forms, you realize that people are thronging to get these jam forms, because some parents also do feel it is part of our cake, our national cake. We also should benefit from it. So, but if these jam forms were there and nobody was coming to get them, you could then say, oh, okay, it is not an achievement.
So
but if you have people coming...
So jam form should be easy for every parent to purchase in the first place. If you have not weaponized poverty,
I agree.
Nobody should be struggling. We went to school now. Who bought jam form for our own parents? Some of us even bought this. As students, some of us paid our school fees by ourselves because life was much better than that, than now. But right now, I see a bunch of, particularly legislators, who do not know the essence of their being there, who they're representing, and then all they do is they share noodles at every, sometimes people go for this town hall meetings. I've been a part of a few. I just wanted to see what is done. And all people do, they share envelopes, they share noodles, they share things, and people are excited.
Yeah, because they're hungry.
Yes, because they're hungry. That's why I say that if the country was better placed, this would be the determinant factors for putting people in offices. But right now, it is whoever gives you something that you will go for. And the excuse is that at least some people have been there, they didn't give us anything. At least this one has given us something. So until we get to that level where poverty does not determine how we vote, things will still continue to be like this. And let me assure you, it's going to get worse.
Okay, so another round of election will be coming up very soon in the country, and of course, the political class will come with their games, their antics, and everything. So, how do we quell this do-or-die attitude of the political class? Do we make the office less juicy and make it more of service, so that there won't be any contest, there won't be any do-or-die attitude for them to come and force themselves to serve?
Let me propose this. It's a bit awkward and crazy, but if our legislature ends the minimum wage,
good.
Everybody will go back to their work.
Everybody will sit tight.
Nobody. If you know the perks of office, the perks attached to most of those offices. That's why somebody will be there for years and years, and he will tell you that they can't. And then they pretend as if they're doing service to the people. And you look at the people some favor. And you look at the people they say they're doing service to. They're so poor. They're so funny looking, and nothing is showing. So, but for me, if it's less financially attractive, I tell you, these are people who cars are changed every year, houses are given, and then guess what? The fact that you're a part of the House or the legislative house this season and you come by the next dispensation, they don't care about what you've gotten before. They give you the new things. And my brother, you and I know, if we're privileged to be there, we too want to continue the thing. It's just normal. It's just normal for any human being. People are motivated by pain or gain. And there's so much gain in this thing. That's why it's going to be hard to stop this do or die thing. Because do you know how many times when I worked at the Senate, legislators we didn't know. They don't show up. And the monies get paid. You get paid for doing nothing, and you want to live there and go and hustle. It's tough outside. Who will? It's tough. Nobody will give it.
From what you've said now, and then when you look at other democracies in the world, if we take a look at the U.S., for example, where lawmakers, the more they spend, the more years they spend, the more experience they said they tend to gain. But of course, like you've rightly pointed out, perhaps the perks of office or the monetization attached to, in other places might not be as huge as what we have in Nigeria. So if we take a look at it from that example, where now I'm particular about lawmakers, either at the federal or the state level, where the more you stay, the more experienced you are in the art, in the art of lawmaking, and the better it should be for the lot of your people. Why is it different here? That it is not about the people, but about the perks of office, about the things that you will get, about you jettisoning the things that you had during your first term and acquiring more things in the second term. Why is it not about service? Even though you've said, the larger picture, it is about what you're going to gain at the end of the day. So how are we ever, even though you have answered that, it doesn't look like we're going to get out of this situation soon. But are we ever going to get it right at some point where service should be paramount, or should be at the heart of what these guys or these women are in there to offer?
I am not a fan of revolution, because if you look at history, from Bolshevik Revolution up to the Arab Spring, you find out the coups in Africa, which were all forms of revolution. You find out that the ruling class always find themselves back at the top. So revolution is not the answer. Now, but I think self-consciousness, education and voter awareness, because those who are educated and those who are doing well, I think if they come out and challenge those people, and then people also who are well-to-do, let them vie for positions. And then, because funny enough, as horrible as we describe this bunch of politicians, we can still single out some people, a few ones who are doing fantastically well and who know the job. Now, so if we have a few of those people take up positions, they will send the message down. Then I think one of the things we also have to educate our people is, no matter how hungry you are, put the hunger aside for once and ask these persons, what have you done for us? A lot of things, people, I'm a part of the program with Pastor Itua's church. He was training some young persons, and I was brought in as a facilitator, and I was taking them on local government, the works of the local government chair. And by the time I was done, young people, they were wowed. They didn't know that the local government chair had so much powers and had so much responsibilities. But if you look at it, the local government that we have now is just literally, you just put somebody there and then he does nothing, people share money and they go. You can't point at anything visible. So I think it's time people started challenging them and asking. So it starts with we knowing what they should do for us. Right. Because if I don't know what he should do,
then you can't ask the right questions.
I can't ask the right question.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Okay, we have said so much about lawmakers, about local government chairmen. We have governors as well, whose spec of office are quite big fish, yes, so to say. And some of these governors, when they commission projects in local governments or different places in their states, they sound like they are doing the people that they are meant to serve some favor. And the money that they have done to execute that project is not their money. They feel, oh, I've done this particular thing for your area now, so when it is time for election, you must vote for me. I've done this, I've done that. So how do we start changing this narrative of these politicians, believing that they are doing the people some favor if they have tarred your road or construct schools?
Well, it's an unfortunate situation, really, because I've seen it several times. In fact, if there's one person who complains a lot, I think this man, Jimmy Disu, is always on radio and like, the governor comes, give judges cars, and then he's publicizing it. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to tell the people? But you see, it still boils down to the economic power of the people, because it's unfortunate. And as long as money still plays a major role in our politics, it's going to be hard to be able to look at those people in the face. You saw what happened in a neighboring state. Yeah. Now, governors feel somebody who I'm not even referring to that particular state, but you see governors who haven't done anything. They retire and then they feel Senate is the best place for them because they just want to continue with that thing. And then you see there's a fourth leg to what I explained earlier. You get power because the power concentrated in the seat of a governor is massive. And these days now, even if you go and criticize a governor for not doing his job, his constitutional duties, the DSS, the police will come after you. You're demanding. So at the end of the day, it's a way of now they've used poverty to hold down the people. Now they're using the agencies, the law enforcement agencies, to also literally gag them. So it's going to be very hard to confront them, or you stand and say, we demand this thing. So, and if you want to still be the father and mother of your children,
you keep quiet.
Successfully, you just go your own way. If you look at it, okay, my work is not giving me problem, my family is not giving me problem, why do I want to create problem for myself? So it's sad. It's a very sad situation that we find ourselves. But we can only hope and pray because, like I said, revolution is not the answer. Maybe some education. We educate ourselves, tell ourselves this, and then let's push. Because one of the things I also found out, if you look at the last election, less than 25% of the voting population, not the Nigerian population, of the registered voters, less than 25 came out. So that means that if we got another 30%, they could have swayed the whole thing. So we need to motivate ourselves. We need to come. But the problem now is this. Most of the people too taking up these things, they have ulterior motives. So you don't know who to trust. So at the end of the day, people just look at what is their thing. Let them go. But we are the ones who end up suffering these things. So maybe we need some divine solution.
Divine, always
the
divine.
Same divine. We always run to God for divination. Can we quickly look at the role of political parties in this? Because, I mean, looking at how we are, talking about Nigeria, it looks like, our things, practically everything that we do has a sense of monetization in it. Only yesterday we were talking about the ruling party and it rolling out its expression of forms interest. And if you'd like to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it is put at 100 million naira. The cheapest.
I would have gone for it if it was 10.
Oh, sorry, 100 million. The cheapest is 10 million.
10 million,
10
yes.
million. And of course, we looked at it and said, in a country where we keep saying, we're poor or there is no money, and the political parties have put such an amount of money, we did say that if you are, we should actually question you if you're not in government and you're able to afford to pay for those forms. And then here we are talking about do or die and wanting to quell this quest amongst our politicians. Are the political parties not also part of this issue? Our guest yesterday said, if I'm buying 100 million naira form, if I get into office, the first thing is to recoup my money before I think of other things.
The form is the least thing you do. There's campaign money.
I'm just saying.
I'm adding to what you're saying. So you're looking at the form. There's campaign money. There's a whole lot of funds that goes into it. So our politics is too expensive. It's too expensive. It is only something will be wrong with someone upstairs after spending so much money and not trying to recoup. That's why I said at the beginning that you see people that this person was broke. This person, EFCC was chasing this person. Now he gets into the office. First thing, you pay up all your debts. You do all the things, then recoup your money, then start getting money that you use to fight people who want to contest with you. So it's a horrible conundrum, but where we found ourselves. But let me leave the divine thing. But I think the people,
it's good that you're living the divine
need
thing.
to really come up. Programs like this, we need to sell to people's consciousness. Funny enough, these people are not more than us.
Yeah.
They're not more than us. It's just a few of them. There is strength in numbers. And guess what? They know that these numbers count. That's why they come. Where my office is, the legislator in Lagos State in charge of it, I would mention the place. She didn't show up since the last election. They didn't see her again. If I went, they went to her, like, Madam, come and even see the people. She said she's not coming back. She doesn't care. And that's it. She never showed up after the, you know that thank you thing they do after? She didn't even come. I'm serious. So that kind of person, fine, she's not coming, but I think it's time for people to gather themselves together and then come up with something amongst themselves. Look for someone amongst you.
When we gather ourselves together, I'm not a politician, I'm just using gather ourselves together here. When we gather ourselves together, can we afford to pay 10 million naira?
You don't have to go through the ruling party. It's the ruling party that is doing 10 million.
Okay, so we can start from...
There are other parties, but just make sure that you don't go and take over a party that has problems.
Which one? Is it Labour? Is it PDP? Is it
so all these parties, there are parties with problems. So all you have to is that you got to start organically
and grow.
Where do you get that kind of money to grow organically?
So meaning that you don't have to.
Yes.
You can grow organically and make a projection into another.
Now, so what you
8
would
years?
do, look for like minds. It's not like we're that poor, we can't get ourselves together. You see, those people, they don't put themselves on high jump. Now, they know that one of the simplest ways of cutting out the crowd is to just raise forms money. A form is 100 million. Some of us are not even seeing 100 million. So that has already taken you off. You know that they have lesser crowd coming for the thing. Then they now look for other means to screen people. So you can go and join other parties. Then you see, we're used to all this politics of them, appointing you, imposing you over people. You can start from an unknown party that has no problem.
Okay.
And then start, because what we used to know, we were all 70s children. We grew up in the 80s where politicians will go house to house. Yes. They don't do such things again. And some of us don't even know the people representing us. They go house to house. I know, because my dad was really into politics, and people will come to our house, they'll come to the area, they'll speak, they'll talk to children, like that. But not these days. Now you go to them. They say he's standing somewhere in Surulere, so go and meet him. They're like, hey, somebody that needs our vote.
I think I know your lawmaker now.
I haven't said much.
Okay, with the kind of engagement that you have started having with that lawmaker, elsewhere very close to us here, there was a particular lawmaker that wanted to come into an estate to come and, tell the people some stories. After the last election, he had not been to that estate, and now he's desperate to come back. And, he's telling people that Baba said, I must come back. And the people are telling the guy, you are not coming back because you have not done anything. So if you start engaging these people this way, would that change the trajectory of politics in Nigeria?
Yes, it would. It would. You know what happened the last election? I think it was somewhere around 80 or so, that people just felt, we don't want this person, we don't want this person. Fine, they voted blindly for someone they didn't even know. Right. But you see, it's time for people to start coming out and selling themselves to people so that we won't make that kind of mistakes. In fact, another problem now is, even if you vote for someone in another party, that one too will get there, and if he's sidelined, he will now cross. You're back at the same position that you were running from. Yeah. Now, but the first thing is this: let's engage them. If he wants to come into the estate, no problem. Stay at the gate of the estate. Let's take the battle to the gate, like the Holy Book says. And then let's now ask him at that gate that, what have you done? What have you done? Even if Baba said you should come. The same Baba who said, sometimes, and we have to say this, some of those people who ride on the name of the president, the Baba is the president. This Baba was a good person. When he was in your own position, he performed. You are now riding on the name of this same person and doing nothing. Which Baba is sending you? You are not the true son of this Baba. You are claiming. Because everybody knows it. Even as horrible as people say the economy is, if the president walks into this place, we will still hail him.
Yes.
If for anything, for his antecedents, his past. Yeah. But some of those people don't have anything to show for this thing. Somebody is a legislator. He said that he's one of the motions is that he moved a motion that they should do they should get into the crisis in Rivers State. You are a Lagos State legislator. From where to where?
Is the person...
I don't know.
Let us look at issues surrounding...
That was having Bolas on the car as well.
You know, there are some things that you hear, and you know when
wonder.
you just say oti bo, because you hear some things and you shudder and you wonder, where is this really coming from, and you know, things like that. Anyways, let's quickly go back into the conversation, and then we've talked about role of the political parties, we've talked about role of the people. Can we also, is it possible that voter apathy is also one thing that a lot of people don't even want to get involved. People don't even want to vote because of things like this, and people always think, oh, our votes will not count. Some of people already said Baba has endorsed this particular person, so why even vote at all? But then, in your own opinion, do you think that staying away from the vote or staying away from the election is a good way to express your grievances, or a good way to show your displeasure at the system, or having it at the back of your mind that even if I participate in the election, it won't even count anyway?
Let me say this. What people need to know is that voter apathy is a form of voting.
It's a form of voting, but you
Yes.
haven't voted, so...
So, if there are 100 people who are supposed to vote, 30 of us decide that our vote won't count, it doesn't make sense, we won't join them, we move away. Or maybe 40 of us. They would decide the winner with, maybe, and there are like 3%. The winner can just, the person who will win may come up with 27 votes. Meanwhile, the 40 of you would have made the definite difference.
If you had voted.
But because you have voted by not voting, because you have voted for yourself and voted for 0. Now, so you score 0, and then somebody you didn't like will end up being there. And he will do what he likes because he knows you didn't contribute
for him.
to the thing. So the days of voter apathy, we need to sensitize the people that voter apathy doesn't work. It doesn't work in anybody's favor. If it shortchanges you, because somebody who is not deserving of the position will end up being there.
Yeah.
So,
but the argument is that if they didn't vote anyway, whether or not they voted or they participated in the election, the umpire would have would still go ahead to accord the highest.
No, it
vote
doesn't work like that. We've seen instances where even in this Lagos, there was some person, I think back in the day in Mushi, where
accord party.
yes, we saw that.
Yeah.
The last local government election, where there was somewhere in Yaba, there was a councillor.
Right.
I think he used to be in the ruling party. He
And
wasn't
then
given the ticket. Young guy. But the people knew him, and everybody came out. That's why I said that we should leave this. We were too lazy. There was a time I was in the UK. It was during the election, and I saw the way those people were going from house to house, dropping things, and we don't do that again. You can't just, because you're paid for form, you think people will just come and vote for your party.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that. Because you'll be surprised that if you go house to house, people who didn't want to be a part of the process, if they look at it, there's a young man who has sense, who has vision, who has a future, they will follow you.
Okay.
And we've seen that. The last time, I think it was, there was some young person who was brought out in Surulere. I think eventually it didn't work out. Everybody just felt, okay, this is a young man, we know him, we've seen him on TV and all that. And everybody was rooting for him until the dying minute when everything went south. But what I saw in that was the young man was going, he was being taken from house to house, places to places, and they knew him. He was a regular face on the TV. So, very young guy.
Yeah.
Now, but that's how these things work. So,
Okay.
voter apathy is not the way to go. Everybody should know, follow your own candidate. Then you can monitor those things. We pray INEC will give us things in real time so we can follow it. But even if they don't do it, or they did it like they did in the last election, what we can do is that there's a way we can monitor our votes.
Right.
Remember when there was no this level of technology during Fashola's election? It was this same president who was the governor before, who was the governor at that time. He ensured that people were, their
Taking
results
pictures
were
and
sent
then-
through text
right.
messages and all that. And what came out tallied with what INEC. So even INEC saw that There's no way we'll
can
and they were sending
manipulate.
it to some servers. Then we had just all these 33 10s and cool. Then, so if they could do that, then the man knew what he was doing. He became president today. People just want to become something without working for it. It's not going to work. Sincerely, let's be truthful. If I just come now, can Bosun Osifowora vote for me?
What are you coming to offer?
What do you want to offer? Sell yourself to us. You may try the first time, try the second time, like that. But after a while, they'll see your face, they'll notice you, and they look like, okay, the ones that have come, let's follow these bros and see whether things can change. And that's how these things work. But you have to sell yourself to the people, and you have to show them that you care.
Okay, with some of these things that you have suggested on the program this morning, does that give you hope that things might get better in 2027? And the political parties themselves, what kind of cleansing should they start doing internally for them to have credible candidates vie for positions?
These parties differ. With most of this, if depending on the state, for example, let's start from the state, most parties, the ruling party in the state, the way they put up candidates is different from the parties that are not in government.
Okay.
So those ones is more of imposition. And then, even...
Imposition or consensus? No,
imposition dressed in
consensus.
That's basically so. But this is this is the hand of Esau, but the voice of Jacob's. So but I mean their own is there. But other parties, definitely you have to follow what the electoral guideline, and you have to emerge as a candidate. But when you emerge in your party,
Right.
the primary thing you're supposed to do is, for me, there's this thing about people where they feel, okay, some people just don't like whoever is ruling, whether the economy is good or bad. Some people just have this anti-government thing, so they want to follow. And the majority, you can canvass those people and get something tangible from them. But you have to do the legwork, because you have to show workings. That's what people are used to, how things are done now. Because my father was very strong in politics, and I followed a bit, and I saw how things were done, and it's diametrically opposite what we do now. People just want to sit down, and then you sit in situation room and be monitoring how many people are voting for you. What did you tell them? How are you deserving of their votes? So these things, I think people need, and it's in the process of working and talking with people that you get. At least there's a governor in this Nigeria who said that in the course of campaigning, he met a madman who told him what to do, and the thing changed how he governed. You can meet, not necessarily madmen, but you can meet people who can change, who will give you ideas that can actually turn things around for you. But we need to show that working, meet the people, talk to the people, find out their needs, and then that's how you can actually read it. And that's where people can say, this is the man of the people.
Okay. All right. We would have to leave this conversation here this morning. But bottom line is, as politicians, you must endeavor, you're close to the people, and get into the heart of the electorate, because at the moment, that might just be your selling point. Thank you so much, Bosun Osifowora, for finding time to be with us on the program.
Always a pleasure.
We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, Joy will be here with her Lagos conversation.